And greetings to everybody. We're here at the Youth Mindfulness Conference in San Diego, sponsored by the UC San Diego. And I'm excited to have the secret weapon of not only the Chicago Bulls, but the Los Angeles Lakers. And it's Mr. George Mumford, who I consider a guru in terms of mindfulness for the athlete, but people of all walks of life. So George, I want to ask you this question. Why is mindfulness not only important for the athlete, but for people of all walks of life? Why is the mindfulness important?
Yes, well, mindfulness is important because the only time you can live is in this moment. And so if you are able to be more present for each moment, your activity and everything you do is going to be enhanced. In other words, you're going to be more successful, you're going to be more connected to yourself and others, and you're going to have more joy.
You talked about superpowers in your book, which
Right.
fascinates me. Can you just share a little more of those superpowers and what they are?
Yes, well, when I talk about superpowers, there's these mental faculties, mindfulness being the center of them, where it allows you to just see what's going on and to align yourself with the way things are. So there's mindfulness, which you might consider like mirror mind, it just reflects what's in front of it. But then there's this idea of faith or trust in the universe, that the universe is a friendly place, or that you have a connection with a higher power. Some of us call it God, some might call it Buddha nature, or Christ consciousness, or the divine spark, or the masterpiece within. But there's a power, there's a loftiness to this universe, and if you live in accord with that, you align yourself with that, that's where the power comes from. So it's the trust, but it's also insight or understanding exactly how things are. So it's one thing to believe something, it's another thing to actually experience it or to understand it. So that the more you know how things are, the more confident you're going to be that you're going to make good decisions, wise decisions. So we talk about trust and insight, or just wisdom, clearly knowing what's going on, who you are and how you need to be. And then there's this idea of effort. Everybody makes effort, but most of the time it's the wrong effort. There's too much tension, there's too much desire behind it, or it's, I want to destroy this person, it's not the right energy. So you start to understand that there's certain qualities of mind like generosity, compassion, love, empathy, that really enhance our ability to be present and feel connected to ourselves and others. But yet there has to be this steadiness of mind, which is this moment, not forgetting what this moment is, and that we only live in a moment, but also not forgetting what we're doing. So that we're not focused on how we're doing, we're more focused on what we're doing, and understanding the only time we can really do things or experience things is the immediacy of experience.
Powerful. I'm extremely excited, and your book has been very intriguing. I just want to let everybody know his book is called The Mindful Athlete, and it's absolutely not just for the athlete, but it's for everybody who wants to expand and get greater insight to who we really are. And my question for you, in terms of our Inspired Parenting listeners or the viewers, why is it so important that we begin to convey this information to our young people early? Why is that important? You talked about little George. You talked about little George a lot during your talk.
Well, what I think is it's important because if we see what happens to youth that don't know who they are, they end up becoming anybody, and that could be gang members, it could be members of some terrorist group like ISIS or whatever, or they could just be lost, just be walking through life with no connection to their heart, no connection to themselves and other people. So it's important that we teach them and we embody what being present is, that we have core values like love and community and family and just trying to be the best version of ourselves. And that, if we use a phrase, just hallow everything. In other words, make it holy. Just be in holy converse with ourselves and others and the planet at the same time.
Beautiful. So how can our parents get involved with what you're doing? Are you doing any retreats? I personally would love to attend a retreat that you facilitate.
Yeah.
So are there some things you're doing coming in the 2016 that our parents can get involved with? Or our young people, or you can get involved with?
Yes, I think, our organization like Ivy Child is a really good place. So even though we're going in working with the students, we're also working with we need to work with the parents, the school administration, the teachers, and the community as a whole, so that it becomes, as we like to call it, the multiplier effect. You know, we start with one group and then it ripples out that everybody is embodying being present for life and being present for their life.
So the last question for me is, and I'm impressed with your work, I'm impressed with your journey. And so for me is, what is the biggest epiphany, what's the biggest revelation or aha that you've received from doing the work that you're doing?
Yeah, that I have a masterpiece within. And that when I can connect and relate and think and behave a certain way, I have more access to that. And I can live out of that, what I call the eye of the hurricane, or out of that, be still and know.
So there it is, all you masterpieces out there. We have the great secret weapon, again, I want to call it the secret weapon of the Lakers, the Chicago Bulls, and many athletes and people from around the world who's sharing his thoughts and his ideas and his programs on mindfulness. So I want to thank you all for joining us, and I want to thank you, George, for being who you are and allowing the Spirit to guide you as you give these gifts and talents. And I know that it's changing people even now. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.